everyone, and welcome to the Power of the Inbox. This is email marketing for success. We're going to be talking today about how to use email correctly for marketing. This is something that I know a lot of people struggle with. They struggle with, one, should they send email as a marketing tool? Should they even use it as a marketing tool? Two, how do you go about doing that if you do decide you want to use email as a marketing tool? And what do you put in a marketing email? How often do you send it? All of those things. And those are the things that I'm going to cover today. The very first thing out the gate here that I do want to talk about is email marketing something your business should be doing? And in my opinion, with very, very, very rare exceptions, I can't even really think of one off the top of my head. Email marketing is absolutely something your business should be doing. The key to successful email marketing is giving your customers something that they can value. And that's different. That value proposition is different for every target market and for every business. So that's something that you, as the business owner, have to determine either in conjunction with or for your particular target market. For those of you who are like, well, I really don't like email because I don't like receiving marketing emails, and I know my customers won't either. If you'll go back and you'll think about the fact that you do probably receive marketing emails that you like, you will notice that the ones that you like and the ones that you open and the lists that you stay subscribed to are the lists of the businesses and entities that provide you with information of value. Either it's inspirational, which is of value, it's monetarily of value, so those coupons that you get or offers or discounts, which, by the way, I don't always advocate for. I advocate for information or something that helps you be able to add a value to your lifestyle or your business. So right out the gate, I wanted to kind of get those things covered. My name is Kimberly Beer, and I am an authorized local expert and solution provider with Constant Contact. Constant Contact is an email marketing software service. The tips and techniques that I'm going to go over in this presentation today apply to any email marketing, whether you use a competitor of Constant Contact or whether you use Constant Contact. I'm going to advocate that you use Constant Contact. There's a reason why I'm an authorized local expert and solution provider for Constant Contact. Actually, there's multiple ones. First off, I do believe that their software is the best. It has the most capability over some of their competitors for small business owners. Now, if you're a huge business, maybe it's not the most perfect fit. But for small businesses, which are my primary clients and which probably compose 100% of you listening to this webinar, whether live or recorded, Constant Contact is a perfect fit for your particular business. They do make it easy for you to be able to use their product, and most importantly, Constant Contact has a true investment in the entrepreneurial and small business community. They have lots of education. Their support is amazing. And in my opinion, support goes a long ways. If I can pick up the phone on something that I pay for and call someone and ask them a question, that is a huge deal. And if the person on the other end is knowledgeable and has some expertise in what they're talking about, that's even better. And I can tell you, I have been with Constant Contact going on 6 years now as an ALE, and their support is impeccable. And ALE means that I don't actually work for Constant Contact, but Constant Contact is a product I use in my businesses, and then also I have been trained to train people how to use Constant Contact as well as various other software out there. So let's proceed on into email marketing and talk about the specific differences, first off, between emails that you would send out every day and emails that are marketing emails. So, should your first impression be this particular email on the left or the one on the right? Well, if you're sending out a marketing email, it should definitely be the one on the right. Hands down, no ifs, no ands, no buts. Now, there are a couple of things that are going on with the email on the left. First of all, it's been sent out to a carbon copy list. And if you want to talk about something that people really get upset about, it's when you share their email address with other people. So this one does share the email address with everyone on that list can see it. Now, a lot of people think they'll be sly and get around that by using the blind carbon copy feature in their email software. Doesn't work. And what is even more important is that email service providers like Google and Yahoo and Hotmail and AOL and any one of them that provide email are savvy to this technique and mark it as spam, because generally that's what it is. Most of the time when you receive one of these emails, you really haven't opted into the list. And there's no place for you as the consumer to unsubscribe from it, which is really, really aggravating. So if one of your pushbacks for using email marketing, for using email as a marketing tool, is that you don't like the fact that people may not enjoy getting marketing emails, then let's go back to this little technique is really in violation of that. So what you want to do is you want to present a really nice email that works for your customers but allows them to unsubscribe, allows them to manage their account, doesn't share their email with other people, has images that are inspirational, and lets them know what to do. If you look at the email on the right, we have some decided things that move me as a cyclist where the one on the left doesn't. I also can see a very clear call to action in the email on the right versus the one on the left. One thing I will tell you in writing and designing websites and emails day in and day out that I have learned is the less information, or let me just rephrase that. It's not the less information, but the more structured the information is that I can put into an advertisement, the better. Now, I am always pushing the envelope to put too much in, mostly because it always ends up being a compromise between myself and my client. And there's things that my client feels that their customers need to know. So it's a constant battle that I kind of war with a lot of my clients as to how much information should go into any specific thing. I will tell you the more successful ones with email marketing and more successful ones with marketing period are ones that let the images do the talking and keep their text to a minimum. That tends to get the most response. And Constant Contact's surveys and Constant Contact statistics over years of email marketing bear that same principle out. Less is more. So email marketing, when we get right down to it, is delivering a professional communication to a specific audience containing information that's valuable to that recipient and that looks great whether they pick it up on their cell phone or on a tablet or on their computer. So here's what email marketing software does for you, which is what this slide doesn't tell you, is it lets you do this. It offers you an opportunity to create a template or utilize a template. So basically a template is just a form. You think of it like the bare rooms of a house. It lets you decorate that, which provides you with an opportunity to do my 4 qualities of a good email marketing piece. So 4 qualities of a good marketing email: that it be branded, that it be valuable, that it be actionable, and that it can be concise. And email marketing software lets you do all of that in a very consistent way online, where it's mostly very quick. You put your logo in, you put a couple of images in, you put a little text in, you put a call to action in, boom, the email's ready to go out. I know I said that in 10 seconds or 3 seconds, and it probably will take you a couple of hours the first time, and then it'll get down to where you can send one out in just a few minutes. I can send an email out to my list on my Constant Contact within about 10 minutes if I need to. So we want to make sure that the email looks professional. But email marketing software goes beyond that. Constant Contact goes beyond that. Every piece of information that you put in your email should be clickable. So there's call to actions, there's images, all of those things. When you click on that, it gives you a report of who clicked on that particular item. So now you have a qualified lead list as well. It lets you manage your list, and it lets your customers manage their accounts. So you can't, if someone unsubscribes, you can't resubscribe them accidentally. They have to go in and do it themselves. It allows you to put people on different lists and segment them and keep them clean and be able to pull them up and look at it. I don't even want to know what kind of nightmare goes on into people who try to segment lists when they're using Gmail to market to their customers. So it is a holistic solution for marketing via email. So why market to email with email to begin with? So we've come over a couple of the obstacles a lot of people have, but let's talk about the positives reasons why you would want to use email to market. It can give you repeat business. It is incredibly effective customer relationship tool. And I will tell you, part of what my experience is in being in marketing for over 20 years is to keep the customers that you currently have. Even if you have one of those businesses that you may not work with your customers every single week or every month, maybe they only come to you every year or two. Even those relationships are really important to keep over time. We live in a culture where we get distracted easily because there is so much information thrown at us every minute of the day. I always call it the squirrel factor. Think of a dog looking out is sitting and paying attention. A squirrel runs across the yard and they're like, squirrel. So we can do that with companies, even ones that we really enjoy and who did nothing wrong. If we're looking for a particular item, let's say in this case of the example that's on here, I happen to crochet. So this, looks like towels here. So, if I need towels, and they do sell yarns. So if I need towels and I forget Cotton Clouds sells towels, I know that they do, but an email comes through my email box that has a good deal in it, probably going to follow that deal. I'm going to go squirrel and run off to a different company. So we want to make sure we keep that brand loyalty. So what can email do for your business? It can keep that relationship maintained with your customers so that they come back. What can it do for your business? It can create and increase awareness. Now, this particular email is not a design that I would recommend, but it gets the point across in being able to create awareness, in this particular case, of a realtor and a specific space. So it creates awareness and helps you build a better customer. I love when I can build a better client for my clients by educating them using email to get them to the point that they're already pre-sold or pre-convinced of something that my client needs them to be. I work with a lot of life coaches and a lot of coaches in general and a lot of people who work in the mental health industry. And a lot of times it's just getting people to change the way that they think about those particular services. And if we could do that through email and the person walks into their session with a more open mind, then the coach or the therapist can get so much more done with that individual. What can it do for your business? It can drive up your revenue and profit. It takes a while to build an email list if you sell a product that you can send out an email and money appears in your bank account. Although I will tell you, when that occurs, it feels like you have waved a magic wand and made something happen. It is the most amazing feeling to send out an email and have people respond to it in a way that immediately adds revenue to your bank account. And email marketing can do that. It is really, really cool. It also does it for services. It'll book services for you. Once you get your email list built up, I don't know of any business that will repeatedly send out emails and not get some kind of a response back that is monetary. On typical, every dollar that you spend on email marketing will bring back $44 in revenue. It's pretty amazing. So, are you ready to harness the power of the inbox? So this is an important concept as we move forward. What is the number one application on cell phones? And if I give you a couple of minutes, or if I ask this question in a live class, I can tell you the answers come back as whatever the game du jour is, Facebook comes back as usually a top application. But here's the reality of it. Because email is so integrated in our lives, we don't even think of the fact that email is an application on our cell phone. But it is. But it is the one that we use the most. And more than half of all emails now are opened on a mobile device. And if you question if your clients are using mobile devices, here's a little statistic that'll tell you that they are. More people own a cell phone than a toothbrush. Okay, why email? It works everywhere. People read it. 88% regularly check their email on their smartphones more than social media or videos. 91% of people check their email daily. I swear that's a higher statistic. I don't know where those 9% of the people are. Email gets delivered 90% of the time. Facebook posts only reach roughly 2% of your fans. And Facebook is always changing their algorithm. They just announced recently that they'll be changing that again. And I can guarantee you it's gonna side towards friends and family and their posts getting seen over business posts. Facebook ads are incredibly effective, but email gets delivered more often. It's two different audiences, really. You can't think of, I'm going to do email marketing, or I'm going to do Facebook marketing, or I'm going to do email marketing and I'm going to do, or I'm going to do social media. It has to be an and proposition, because email is for your customers who are more qualified than the ones that are on your Facebook page. Facebook has a mild interest. Email has a more consistent interest. Email marketing is 3 times the conversion rate of social media. So you will get 3 times more people, and for every dollar spent, $4.25 is the return average. Here's why it matters. Repeat customers buy more. That just is a given. And if you've been in business for any length of time, you're pretty aware of that. Word of mouth is the best marketing. And that is another truth that you will have learned as a business owner. The longer you've been in business, the more you understand that. And 82% of business-to-consumer small businesses say loyal customers are the number one way they grow their business. So their existing business is the way that they get more business. Regular email, doesn't work in a marketing situation. We've already covered a lot of this. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. But you can only send a limited number of once, no formatting control. The list breakup is susceptible to filters, which means that Google will kick them back, or Yahoo. No cohesive branding. They are not spam compliant. And there is no tracking or reporting. So what email marketing does for you, for its constant contact, it provides that beautiful mobile, responsive, easy to use templates, reinforces that brand identity, emails addressed to the recipient only, manages lists, including new subscribers, handling bounce backs, removing unsubscribers, and ensures mail delivery, tracks results, and helps you stay on the right side of the spam regulations. One thing I do want to tell you is that Constant Contact is an opt-in list. This is another question that I often get from people in live seminars is, where can I buy an email list? Well, you can't, not legally anyway. People have to say that they want to receive email communications from your company. Now, to start with, you can use existing lists as long as the customers have willingly provided their email address to you and said it's okay for you to communicate with them. When you start your Constant Contact account or your email marketing, it's okay to email those people as long as they have a clear outdoor with an unsubscribe, which is on every Constant Contact email that they'll receive. There's an easy way for them to unsubscribe for that. You don't even have to put it in. It's already taken care of for you. But you do want to try to opt people into your list. You do want to tell them in advance. I always look at it as you make a covenant with them. You tell them when they subscribe or when they provide their email address exactly what you're going to do. And if you're going to change that, you're going to give them some heads up to that. So typically what I do when someone opts into my list is I say, hey, I'm going to send you out an email every month or so, and it's going to contain information about upcoming classes as well as tips and tricks for better marketing for small businesses. And no matter what your business is, just a little simple sentence like that to let them know what they're going to receive, frequency, and what's going to be contained will help keep your email list very healthy, and it will help keep your customers very happy, which is what you want. So growing your list is all about how and where you ask. And yes, you do have to ask. So we've talked about the opt-in. So here's the reasons for that. When you get express consent, you do get more people that are willing to open your emails when you asked for consent. So getting express consent means asking for permission. Be straightforward, just like I said. Offer them the opt-out. Respect their privacy. It definitely adds credibility to you. Don't overwhelm them. Stay within that covenant that you create of how many emails that you're going to send out. And make sure you follow the compliance of CAN spam. And if you're in Canada or in another country other than the United States, you know to know your specific country's rules. Most of the time that is dependent upon that unsubscribe and that the person actually know that when they give you their email address, they're going to be receiving emails from you that have to do with business, by the way. Where to ask? Everywhere. There is no wrong place to ask for a email address for marketing. Well, maybe a funeral, but most of us know socially the right places, but every single place that you can get your list, join my list button, get it on there. Your website, your Facebook page. I routinely post my sign up form to my Facebook page and then boost that post so that I can convert those Facebook people who basically are nameless to me over to my email list where I know who they are and can communicate directly to them. And in the signature of your regular email that goes out via your Gmail or Outlook or whatever it is, collect the addresses at events, add a QR code. That's that crazy looking alien thing that you can scan for your menu or table tents if you do a restaurant. Please do not put the QR code on billboards or semi-trucks or your moving transportation. I realize you park it, but the temptation to scan that while I'm going down the highway is just way too much. Just kidding. Use a sidewalk sign to offer an incentive for a subscription, offer a free gift for a subscription. Speaking engagements, if you speak, which is one of the greatest ways to get clients. Expos are another great place. Sign up form on a bill or check or on your invoice, or when the person is checking out, have the person who checks them out, whether it be a front office person or a clerk, ask for their email address and use a fishbowl to collect business cards. Really just ask. That's probably the most important component. Constant Contact has a wonderful feature called Text to Join, where people can text a word to a number, and then that will walk them through the steps to subscribe to your list. And I can tell you, I have a sister ALE who has a client who uses this really, really effectively, and in a very short period of time, she added over 100 people to her list. It was pretty amazing. So this is something you definitely want to consider using. Do not forget to give people a reason to join your list. Ongoing education, VIP preference. I actually really like that one. Insider news or exclusive access is great. Something that they can utilize, an ebook, a white paper, or a guide. Let them know when to expect this too. So if you sign up for our list, you're going to get VIP treatment. You're going to get exclusive offers to the next deal, or you're going to get a white paper on how to do this, or a guide on it. Updates on your mission if you're a nonprofit. I think one of the craziest things that I see is when nonprofits don't update people on what's going on with their donations. I know I'm much more apt to give money to nonprofits whose missions that are aware of, and also not just aware of, but can see the impact of. Friends and family discount. The number one reason people unsubscribe from an email is not frequency. It's not that they're annoyed by it, but it's irrelevant content. It's not something that works for them. And you can't get too offended if they unsubscribe, because a lot of times maybe their situation changed and they no longer need what it is that you offer. When you're creating content for your emails, whether it's that free gift to get people started or whether it's emails that are going out on a regular basis, do remember it's not just about you. It's about what you know and what you have access to and what that means to your clients. So focus on being relevant. Keep it within your business and what your business impacts that person. Figure out how much is enough, which I can tell you is probably less than you think. Turn questions into content, and images are content too. So let's go back to this: right for your audience and not for you. I say you have to do this to a certain extent, but I also want you to be aware that you are a business and that you have a lot to offer, and sometimes you can give too much information that doesn't actually pull people into your business. Now, that doesn't mean hold things back. I am a huge proponent of putting it all out there. So when I teach these classes, I'll just give you an example from my business and how I conduct for my particular business. I teach marketing. I also provide marketing services. So we do graphic design, website design, email design, the whole 9 yards here within my company. I, in my classes, will teach you absolutely everything I know. If you ask me a technical question, I don't back up and not answer it for you. I will answer it and show you how to use that technology. Because here's the thing I know. If I teach you or if I show you, if you are the right client for me, you're going to come to me and purchase my services no matter whether you have that knowledge or not. Because there's a payoff there for you to use me to do whatever that particular marketing thing is. If you're not so inclined, then you're going to go out and tell other people about me. You're going to share that information, and someone else out there might be that perfect client for me. So I believe in laying it all out there. When I teach these classes, I teach them from the heart and from the mind. I will tell you every single thing that I possibly can to help you be successful to do it yourself. So that's not what I'm talking about when I say it has to have a relevancy for your business. It has to have a relevancy for your business in that you cannot continue to provide information without it bringing revenue to your bottom line. So make sure that when you structure your email and you're writing for your audience, that whatever you're providing them leads them to your door. In my case, I'm giving you great marketing information. And if you choose to be my client, you come to me already being so much more aware of of what marketing is about, my philosophy around marketing, and we can get straight down to work. Make sense? So it works for you, it works for me. Same works for your business. You just have to tweak that model according to what your specific business is. There's a variety of ways to keep things focused on your audience. I will tell you what's going to happen if you don't focus on your audience. 38% of people will unsubscribe if it's boring, and 32% will send it to spam if they find it irrelevant. Boring is a relative statement. So what you might find boring, your audience might find interesting because they're not working at the same level that you are. So you have to sort of do a little trial and error, and this is where those reports with your email marketing makes such a huge difference, is because you can go back and look at what people clicked on. So you'll figure out what they find stimulating, what they find interesting, and what they tend to pass over and not even look at. Okay. And Constant Contact, if you're using Constant Contact, provides you with your industry statistics for open rates and click-through rates and those kind of things. Constant Contact has been doing an email marketing for a very long time. They have a lot of really great statistics over many, many industries. So looking at that information will tell you, it kind of gives you a report card of how you're doing. How much is enough? Less is more. The 20 lines of text or less, 3 pictures or less, all of this equals more clicks. So 1 link will get you the most clicks, 2 links is okay, 3 links starts to get you a decline, and 5 links or less get you almost no clicks. When you're looking at your click rate, those are huge because that's the action you want people to take. So don't overload your email with options. Again, that falls back into choice paralysis. It's a true human head scratcher that we get choice paralysis. So here's how do you turn questions into content. So just some examples. How do I ensure my pipes won't burst this winter? You know, I'll bet if you're a plumber, you get that question a lot. 5 ways to prevent your pipes from freezing this winter. Valuable content. What does it do? If you are a plumber and you issue that particular email, then you have a bunch of really happy clients who go and do it. And then you have a certain section of your list who doesn't pay attention, saw the subject line, didn't go do what was on the list, and now they remember seeing that subject line in their email, and maybe they didn't open it. Maybe they just kind of put it in for later because they were going to go back and do it because they like to procrastinate. Just guessing. I like to procrastinate where plumbing is concerned. I know that. And now they remember that email because their basement is flooded. So they'll run back and grab it and call you to come fix their plumbing. So how do I deduct mileage I drive from work to home each day? Answers to your top 3 mileage deduction questions. Business owner, I love that one. What's a simple way to pick the right wine? Red or white? 5 simple wine pairing tips. How do I get more people to show up to my events? 10 ways to sell more tickets at your next event. So take those questions that you get asked all of the time and turn them into content. This is how you create value within your email. Remember that images are content too. 90% of information processed by the brain is visual content. Our brains are not really wired to read language. We sort of look at language like we do a roadmap. It's sort of an interesting concept. I've done a lot of research on this because getting people to read websites and emails is my job. And images are a great way to tell the story. So I always try to look at an email or anything I create as a way to tell a story. And when you tell a story, you want to lead the person through the story. And when I'm talking about telling, it's not just written, it's visual as well. White space and images are very important. When you communicate through images, make them clickable. By the way, that doesn't count as your click numbers. So when you're looking at the number of links, you can link all your pictures. I don't count the pictures in the clickable links, because people will click on a photo sometimes because they think it's going to get bigger, and then it'll take them to a page where, yes, the photo gets bigger, but it also has more information about whatever it is that they clicked on. If you're selling a product, this is fantastic. If you're selling a service and you're showing someone successfully using that or doing that service, then it's really advantageous to have it go directly to the page on your website where that action is happening. When it comes to your actual key action that you want them to do, that click that you want them to make in text form, keep that above the scroll line. The scroll line is the bottom of the computer screen when it loads the email, or on a cell device, the very first screenful. So it needs to be pretty close to the top. Make sure you limit choices. Again, choice paralysis is a very real thing. When you work with photos, make sure you keep photos the right size. Please don't stretch them. There are a couple of examples in here of people that look way too tall, so keep them proportionate. Choose the right size for the job, so small is usually best for emails. Avoid copyright issues by only using images from reputable sources. You can't just go to Google and download any image, Google it and then download it. That is violating that photographer's copyright. It also is not okay to go steal your second cousin's photos off of their Facebook page without permission. So that violates their copyright. We all are professional photographers. So use your own photos or stock images. That's best when you can show. And people who, depending on the company and your business and brand persona, people like to see legitimate photos from you. They want to see your business, your actions. It makes them feel good when they walk into your physical location and they've seen it before on an email. It just builds that trust right up. Nobody consciously thinks that, oh, this looks just like the email. But subconsciously, it feels very consistent, and that builds the trust level. We all have a big nose for scams anymore. We've been scammed enough that we tend to look for it. Some places that you can get stock imagery are Big Stock Photos, StockVault.net, FreeImages.com. I like iStock Photo and Graphic Stock as well. Graphic Stock's the least expensive of them. But here's the thing with stock photography: the cheaper they are, the less expensive that the images are. I won't say cheap because they're not always cheap, but the less expensive the images are, the more people have them. So the more apt that you are to see your image in someone else's email or someone else's marketing campaign. Always be recognizably you. So use your branding. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a second too. Make sure you select mobile-friendly templates that match your message. Mobile-friendly means one column. Basically, that's what I need you to get from that particular statement, is that it's one column of an email. Now, you can have two images side by side, but try to keep the information in one column. Make sure you use bigger fonts, and make sure your brand looks consistent across all those platforms. To be recognizable everywhere, make sure you use your logo and branding colors. Make sure you use images of your business, products, and people, and use consistent language. And this means everywhere: your website, your email, Facebook. I go beyond that into your physical location as well, if you have one. Here's a really simple recipe for how to create emails that work. A single column template, fewer than 3 images, fewer than 20 lines of text, and no more than 3 to 5 links. Make sure that action is above the scroll line. Okay. 4 reasons to pay attention. So this is how to get your email opened. Who sent it? That needs to be the person that is the most recognizable for your particular business. A compelling subject line. Is it worth reading is the question that one particularly answers. Good timing when it was received. Now, I get asked every single time I do a class, what's the best time to send an email? My answer is whatever time your target market is going to open it. And that usually frustrates people a little bit until I explain this. It is dependent on your target market. There is no specific or best time to send an email overall. We have all learned over time that people will jam people's email boxes mid-morning and mid-afternoon because they finally learned that early morning and late afternoon weren't working. So the reality is it's when your target market opens the email. If you're targeting business people, you need to send the email during business hours. If you're targeting stay-at-home moms, it may be a totally different time. You have to think of the schedule of when mom gets the kids out the door and finally has a minute to breathe, or she may be up really early or up late at night. I happen to work with a lot of small business owners that work really, really hard Monday through Friday and actually Monday through Saturday. So a lot of times when I send out class lists of upcoming seminars, I'll get a better registration rate when I send a Sunday email out because my competitors aren't sending emails out on Sunday as much. And my client is finally in a capacity where they can think about something other than putting out the fires in their business. So when it's received is important for your target market. And easy share options. Get them to send it to friends. Again, just to repeat these, who sent it? How do people know you? Make it your from name and your from email recognizable. Use the same tools that you're using on other social networks. It is probably the number one reason why people won't open your email. They look at the from and go, I don't know this person, and report you as spam. More than 1/3 of people open an email based on the subject line. So once you've passed the I'm not going to throw you away test, then you've got to have passed the open test, and that's where your subject line comes in. Is it worth reading? Identify your purpose and be clear. Use teaser text in the little pre-header section and make sure you customize the message. This is where you can really speak to your target market. Choose your words carefully in that subject line. Avoid spam-like terms like the ones on the right. Check your spam folder if you have a question as to what might fall into that. Avoid all capital letters and excessive punctuation. I still love exclamation points, by the way. Size matters. Keep things clear, keep it clever, keep it short. So 30 to 40 characters for your subject line, 6 to 10 words. 4 to 7 has the greatest response because it's easy for people to digest. Control first 11 to 18 words of the pre-header to entice readers. That's the little section that appears. And 51% of emails are opened on mobile devices. Don't forget that. And don't put things in that pre-header that people have to see because I'm half blind, and so I've got my size on my cell phone ranked up to where not very much of that pre-header appears. Timing is everything, so create a master schedule. This will help you keep your email under control. To keep the promises you made at sign up, weekly, monthly, regular emails. Coordinate your timing across all email and social channels for maximum impact, and make sure you go ahead and leave yourself some room for sending out emails when it's urgent to do so. Again, time of day, you can test is great, but I guarantee you have a pretty good clue if you know your target market of when the best time is to reach them. Emails with social sharing buttons increase the click-through rate by 158%. I love all the statistics because those help us really understand how important things are. Social sharing buttons are, if you look at my mouse, these buttons right here. These are where people can share your email to their social networks. These buttons over here are where they can go to your social networks. There's a difference. So Constant Contact makes this really easy. You click on a share bar. Ask people to share, like, retweet. You don't always have to use the share bar. Sometimes on mobile devices, it's better not to if you have a lot of people opening on mobile. But you can ask them in the email, share this with a friend or forward this to a friend or share on Facebook. Add social media buttons that let people see where your social media is at. Make sure you track your results. That is the biggest boon to email marketing is that you get to see what people click on. You get to see the results of your marketing. It is so much cooler than print marketing. I came from a background of print. You never have a clue as to who's looking at what. With email, you do. So know what reporting matters, focus on your click-through rate, and use that data to make your next decision. So let's break that down a little bit. Small businesses definitely believe in reporting. They provide you an advantage and they help you retain customers, knowing these statistics. So let's look at what's important about that. Your open rate. It indicates who's interested. It can, however, you need to know, be triggered automatically and create a false positive. So your click-through rate shows who's engaged, but it only shows that individual's preferences. And shares illustrate the content of your audience that's most valuable. It illustrates what people find that they most want to share with other people, which usually is what's the most important. You only get one part of the story without the click-through rate. So it's very important to look at all three of those. Oops, it's also really important, if the slide will stay still, to look at your opt-outs and your bounces. No, so it's not going to stay still, so let me just talk about that. Opt-outs are people who say, I don't want to receive your email communication anymore. You will start seeing, if you don't email to your list pretty frequently or by the covenant that you created with them, you'll see opt-outs come up higher. Don't panic if it's one of those instances. But if you're sending out emails regularly and you start seeing more and more and more opt-outs, and by more and more and more, it's a pretty substantial amount. You can expect for a list of several thousand people to get a few opt-outs every time you send an email. But if you start seeing droves of people opting out, that's when you know your content is no longer relevant for them. Either you have them on the wrong list, they're not, what you're sending out is not what you told them they would be receiving, or it's fallen into that wonderfully generic phrase of boring. Or you need to do something when you start seeing lots of opt-outs. Bounce rates are also important because bounces are emails that are not good. So a lot of times they get bounced because the person is on vacation. Hey, that'll resolve itself. They get bounced because a particular company changed their firewall and don't let any emails through. That will change and be beneficial. And many times it's because somebody didn't spell Gmail right. So you can actually go in and figure a lot of those out. The great thing about Constant Contact is it lets you see all of that information and which emails bounced so you can go through and look. If you collect phone numbers upon sign up, this is a great time for you to pick up the phone and do a little customer service. Hey, I noticed your emails to us didn't get delivered. Can I get the appropriate email address? And hey, by the way, how are you happy? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So spotlight on the click through. You want to get people clicking on things in your email, and then you want to look at how that is impacted. So here's a little sample report on from Constant Contact. Here's the clicks that happened for this particular email. So it clicked 21 people, and it shows you directly the link that those people clicked through to or clicked on. If you were to click these numbers 2, 4, 12, 3, it'll show me exactly those people that clicked on that. That's my favorite part. I get to this, I click on the clicked, and I click right over here onto who clicked on what. And it's sort of fun to see who clicks on what in an email to sign up for a class. I love watching those come in. It's so much fun. Making decisions based on your metrics is very important because let's face it, metrics are there to help you be able to make better marketing decisions. So if you have a high open rate but a low click-through rate, you probably want to improve it by maybe having a stronger call to action. Take a look at the mobile friendliness of your email. Make sure you keep your email short. Make it even higher by adjusting the time of day. If it's high, you probably are going to be pretty happy with that though. Use better keywords, get a better segmentation. If you have a low open rate but a high click-through rate, improve it by watching that timing and frequency, writing stronger subject lines, sending relevant and engaging content. So you're on the right path, just take it up a notch. So make the high click-through rate even better by formatting links to stand out, offering links to preferred content, and segmenting your audience based on clicks. If you have a low open rate, generally it has more to do with your subject line and who it's from and when they received it. Those are usually the things that cause the open rate but a high click-through rate. If you're getting a lot of clicks in an email, that means that the content is usually okay. It's usually kind of how you're presenting it in the inbox that makes a difference. Pay attention to who's opening what emails. Okay, to who is opening what, and what they do beyond that, and who's clicking. When you have people that open and click, you start to look at those people as super fans. These are people you want to reward for interacting with you really well with your company. Okay, it's a huge boon to have people who will share your content, who click on it regularly. I love super fans. They'll show up on your Facebook page too, and generally they're around the same people. And those people are ones that you want to reward. The more you reward them, the more they want to interact with your business. The more they interact with your business, the more they tell people. They are so worth rewarding for their efforts. So keep an eye on them, and your marketing reports will tell you that. Remember that in the end, you have an advantage. Your customers love you. So using email is a great way to keep that relationship healthy. 3 simple steps to get you started. Even if this is your first email sent out, or even if you just want to experiment, get a list of 5 people together. Just if you only want to do 5, that's great. If you have 10, fantastic. I will tell you, if you come to me to consult with you for marketing, if you have 5 really engaged people, I'd rather have that than 100 people who could care less. So 5 really engaged people. Send out 1 campaign and watch what works. A lot of times your list of 5 people will turn into 10 right away. Usually the first 100 is a little hard to get. After that, 1,000 is simple, and then up into 2,000 and 3,000 starts getting easier and easier. So believe it or not, you can build that list in a fairly quick amount of time. What an ideal email looks like, I just want to review this. It's going to be the preview pane. Keep the preview pane in mind. Keep the top 2 to 4 inches for that. The subject line, remember, fewer than 50 characters, 8 words, 35 characters is optimum. Make sure you include your business name in the from text. Make sure it's from someone recognizable at your business. I like people as well as businesses, so I like putting a person's name, particularly if that person's name is very active with the sales. If you have a sales team, you may want to consider sending out emails from different sales team members to their specific clients. So segment those lists is what I'm saying. Use the share bar. This is an option. If you don't want to do it, that's okay too. Sometimes it's not always appropriate, but it does encourage people to share the email on social. Choose the right template for your message, and believe it or not, you can use the same template over and over and over and over again. Your customers don't get nearly as bored with it as you do, and it helps promote trust through brand consistency. 1 column for mobile emails. Just remember, a lot of people are opening them on a cell device. Put your logo to the left or center, never on the right. That means if it comes into a cell phone blown up, at least we're going to see part of it. Use your brand colors and use your brand message. Communicate through pictures that are inspirational and interesting. Less is more, less than 20 lines of text. Keep your call to action above the scroll line, so within the first screen full of information. and keep your keep your number of links down to a minimum of 3. And make sure you use your social media buttons at the bottom. This will help grow your exposure for social media. Small business marketing is about nurturing relationships, delivering on your promise, and getting results. And Constant Contact and Midnight Productions can help you do that. So if you would like to get more information about using Constant Contact, start with our free trial or practice account. This actually lets you use Constant Contact with kind of a limitation to it. Go to signupwithkim.com and sign up, and then drop me an email at kimberly@midnightproductionsinc.com and tell me you signed up, because I will help you by, get this, designing a custom template for you that's a normally $999 value for your specific business if you sign up with me using Sign Up with Kim. Now, you do have to pay for 3 months of Constant Contact to get that free custom template, but trust me, 3 months of Constant Contact for most businesses that are starting up is only $60, and you get a really nice template designed for you. Trust me, every dollar that you spend on email marketing gets you 44 back, and that's included. So signupwithkim.com or email me if you have any questions. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. I hope this helps give you an idea about what is available with email and why you should be using it for your business. Thank you so much.